Joe Biden backpedaling on student loan relief. Education Department says that a subset of federal student loans owned by private lenders are no longer qualify for relief. Biden administration are curtailing its sweeping student debt relief program for several million Americans whose federal student loans are owned by private companies over concerns the industry would challenge it in court. The Education Department will no longer allow borrowers with privately held student loans to receive loan forgiveness under the administration's plan. Chicken shits, man. Honestly, chicken shit. Chicken shit. Never want to fight anything in court. Never want to, like, actually try to exercise power. Most loans are owned by the federal government, chat. So, but you would all need to know in your own individual position where it is. It's going to take us a moment for us to understand just the implications of Biden's pullback of the student loan relief for people who have it privately held. That seems like a pretty important issue, and I'll try to keep you informed. That being said, I think something like 92% of the student debt is actually held by, the federal government. New filing in the Pacific legal case challenging student debt cancellation. The Department of Justice has filed notice confirming that any borrower who qualifies for automatic debt relief will be given the opportunity to opt out, which blows up the plaintiff's standing theory. DOJ adds that the Department of Education is already in the process of opting the Pacific legal plaintiff out of $20,000 in student debt relief. Frank Garrison versus the Department of Education. In his motions for a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction, plaintiff challenges a federal student loan cancellation policy announced by the U.S. Department of Education and claims that it will be harmed if the department automatically cancels $20,000 of his federal student loan debt. Defendants submit this notice in advance of tomorrow's scheduled conference to inform the court that the department updated its website today to confirm that any borrower who qualifies for automatic debt relief, i.e. relief without filing an application, will be given the opportunity to opt out. If you would like to opt out of debt relief for any reason, including because you are concerned about a state tax liability, you will be given an opportunity to opt out. Upon receiving the lawsuit and reviewing plaintiff's filings, the department has already taken steps to effectuate plaintiff's clearly stated desire to opt out of the program and not receive $20,000 in automatic cancellation of his federal student debt, and so notified the plaintiff's counsel today. So anybody who sues the federal government saying, I don't want you to cancel my student debt, is automatically being opted out. And so they no longer will have standing to sue to challenge the cancellation. That's pretty fucking funny. I don't know. That's pretty funny. I like it. Now, the other issue that people are talking about is Biden's lawyers were concerned that he couldn't forgive debt belonging to private banks. And so he is withdrawing that from the student loan relief. I want my debt and I'm keeping it now. Call JG Dumbfuck. 877 cash to government. Yeah. He's getting his debt relief another way, I think, by his employer. So he's claiming he will be harmed by the Biden relief because he will have to pay state taxes on that relief, but not from the relief from the employer. He was really just looking for a problem. Too bad. All right. Well, it's no longer relevant for him. By the way, chat, here's a W. Gavin Newsom has signed AB 2183, which gives farm workers across the state the ability to organize free from intimidation and deportation. So it was a big win for farm workers in California. Pretty exciting shit. Let me see if I can find something on that. More perfect union. Did they cover this? Because I got to be honest, I was pretty pessimistic about this, so I got this one wrong because I didn't cover it enough because I thought, you're never going to do anything for the farm workers. And he had indicated, Newsom had indicated that he was going to vote against it. And so I was actually pretty surprised that he did it. Here's a video on it, but he ended up caving. 5 pixels.
Yo digo que yo estoy aquí para luchar y no para estar llorando.
Se vale llorar. Eso muestra la frustración que tenemos, el coraje que tenemos. Llorar no es de débiles.
Now that we hit 7K subs, can we get a gaming stream?
Farm workers are holding a vigil outside the California State Capitol building in hopes of changing Governor Gavin Newsom's mind on this labor bill.
AB 2183 is the bill that will give farm workers the ability to vote by mail.
The freedom not to have the intimidation.
Por esa legislación fue que caminé.
Sí, yo marché desde Lenos a Sacramento, 335 millas.
24 days walking through California. Farm workers and their supporters reaching the state capitol here.
¿Qué queremos? ¡Que firme! ¿Cuándo? Ahora. El dolor que traía era mucho más fuerte que caminar.
No fun, no
Yo
gaming.
decía, yo
Good
tengo
point.
que llegar hasta donde tengo que llegar, porque yo decía, muchas quedaron atrás.
Governor Newsom says he does not support the Farm Work Union bill in its current form.
The same bill that they've had a few times. I think Governor Brown vetoed that bill. I vetoed that bill.
Es frustrante. Pero igual, pues aquí vamos a seguir luchando.
The Agricultural Labor Relations Voting Choice Act, or California Assembly Bill 2183, would radically change how farm workers vote in union elections.
Farm workers under the current law don't get to do that. They go to a polling place that is on a grower's property. They're usually driven there by the grower's personnel, and they're under a tremendous amount of pressure during that time on how to vote.
No lo voy a hacer en el campo, sino va a ser en una boleta a través del correo o en mi carro o en mi sala, pues hasta en el baño. Puedo llenarla y endorsarla y mandarla. Me va a quitar la intimidación.
Farm workers face grueling, unsafe conditions and low pay in the fields, but the vast majority are not unionized.
Si no hay unión, no se puede hacer nada.
El trabajo en el campo es pesado porque es una labor muy difícil.
Pues un día como cualquiera en el campo es levantarse a las 4 de la mañana, llegar al campo a las 5 o 6 de la mañana y empezar, bueno, en el trabajo que yo hago es la zanahoria, es trabajar de rodillas 8 horas. Después de eso llegar a la casa, cocinar, recoger los hijos de la escuela, bañarse, dormir 2 horas y esperar para regresar al otro trabajo en la noche. Trabajo en el día en la zanahoria y en la noche en la cebolla, así que solamente puedo dormir de 3 a 4 horas.
Y sí es discriminatorio también porque nos gritan, nos insultan, sexualmente también nos lastiman.
Fui violada en el campo, pues es difícil, ¿verdad? Porque te mandan callar, te amenazan. Yo me quejé con el supervisor y me dijo, recuerda que tienes más hijos. Y pues, si tú te vas a México, ¿quién te los va a cuidar?
Como mujer necesito esta legislación que se pase para tener respeto, para no ser acosada, para no ser intimidada.
Si pasara esta ley sería la persona más feliz porque habiendo una unión en el campo, nosotros podríamos decir realmente lo que está pasando.
Governor Gavin Newsom vetoed a similar bill just last year.
Yes, this bill was vetoed last year, but we've taken some amendments to this point after really productive discussions with the governor.
On August 26th, Newsom's communication director said he cannot support the farm worker bill in its current form. That same day, the San Francisco Chronicle reported that a winery group co-founded by Newsom had spent $14.5 million to acquire an 129-acre California vineyard.
Pero yo pienso que es porque él está pensando más como un ranchero más y no como el gobernador de aquí de California.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and even President Joe Biden have urged Newsom to sign the bill into law.
Did it make an impact that President Biden weighed in?
President Biden weighs in on a lot of issues, and we've had many chances to dialogue on a lot of issues. That bill on my desk with a few hundred others, and we're going to take a good look at it.
Somos campesinos que vivimos al diario. No somos rancheros que le vamos a dar a ganar dinero. Entonces, ¿qué tú crees que es mejor para un gobernador? ¿Darle un voto a un campesino o darle un no a un ranchero?
Governor Newsom has until the end of September to sign AB 2183. The farm workers holding vigil outside the Capitol hope he'll listen to their call to action.
Si todavía no le duele que caminamos 335 millas, ¿qué más quiere que hagamos? Que nos sirve para irnos a descansar con nuestras familias, con nuestros hijos. Es todo lo que le pedimos, que sea un poquito humano.
Yo nomás le pido que se toque un poquito el corazón de usted y piense en los millones de campesinos que nos vamos a beneficiar con esta legislación que usted tiene que firmar.
Damn, dude. Damn, dude. Well, it worked. It fucking worked. He caved. Very, very sad. Very, very sad because farm work is like the hardest work. I really recommend that you watch you follow the farm workers Twitter, because it is fucking brutal. It's brutal to see how skilled they are in the fields, but how it's like bending over for 6 hours. I couldn't do it for 20 minutes, man. The shit that they do. Today, alongside advocates and farm workers outside the state capitol, Governor Gavin Newsom signed legislation expanding union rights for farm workers. This allows the governor, United Farm Workers, and the California Labor Federation, having agreed in a letter on clarifying language to be passed during next year's legislative session, to address Governor Newsom's concern about implementation and voting integrity. So there it is, chat. There she is. There's Newsom giving her a hug. So California has passed some really exciting new labor regulations. First, about a possible sectoral bargaining light for fast food workers, which is a massive victory for fast food workers in the state. Could see their pay rise by double. And we see a big win for farm workers, which is the union that, quite frankly, gets stepped on the most. So these are huge, huge, huge victories. Governor Newsom signs bills to turn unused retail areas into housing.
Governor Newsom signed nearly 40 bills today, all aimed at creating more housing in California.
KC Area 3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala explains the actions, and she's following up on the governor's original campaign promise to make housing more affordable here in the state.
Our growth for housing needs. In a building where death was once the reason for its primary purpose, Governor Gavin Newsom signed off on legislation he says will give new life to housing production in California.
And this is a moment on a journey to reconcile the original sin in the state of California, and that's the issue of housing and affordability.
In this old space in San Francisco that was once a funeral home, the governor officially approved measures that will help turn unused retail and commercial spaces into affordable housing. Assemblymember Buffy Wicks helped write the new law.
Because I know you all agree with this. It is not okay that we have one of the lowest homeownership rates in the country.
The measures have bipartisan support. State Senator Brian Jones was the lone Republican at Wednesday's event.
It's about more than that. It's about getting houses built throughout California, and that's important to every Californian.
Lawmakers say the new laws will help create thousands of good-paying jobs and ramp up housing near public transit. The governor, who is up for re-election in November, also announced $1 billion in new funds for shovel-ready projects expected to create more than 2,700 new homes.
It's now about results.
In 2018, when Newsom was running for governor, his campaign had a goal of building 3.5 million units of housing by 2025. So far, his administration has issued enough permits for about 120,000 units, acknowledging there have been challenges at the local level and also because of the pandemic.
Wait, he wanted to do 3.5 million, he did 120,000? Why are housing prices so expensive in California? Jesus Christ.
When I announced that goal, I didn't make a promise. I said this is the goal that will solve the housing crisis.
But the governor wrote in this Medium post in 2017 he would lead the effort for the 2025 goal. Newsom said Wednesday in the first 6 months of the year, California issued more than 71,000 new permits for housing, the most he says since 2006. He says his administration has set
I wonder why they have no fucking housing in California.
New target to build 2.5 million homes by 2030.
We intend to continue to have audacious goals because Californians deserve them.
Goals lawmakers hope to keep alive with action taken today. In San Francisco, Ashley Zavala, KCRA 3 News.
Are you watching the stream unsubbed? You're making income inequality worse. You are doing anti-praxis. We are the only Twitch stream that will not accept scam advertisers, and I will never fuck you over by selling you crap.